Hello.
Can we test run? It's like test everybody's mic and so on.
Yes. Boleh dengar suara?
Ya, boleh.
Okay, clear.
Ya.
Dr. Nabila boleh dengar ke?
Ya, boleh.
Okay, alright.
Mungkin boleh share video ke, start video and then start sharing, lepas tu tutup balik, like that.
Okay.
Okay, so I cannot start my video because video controlled by host. Host ada ke? Dr. Fairuz belum masuk ya. Okay, Dr. Fairuz kata dia join on the dot.
Okay, another 1 minute before we start.
Dah ada participants ke?
You can see the participant.
Oh,
Yes,
alright.
yeah, you can see the
11 je.
participant.
Alright. Okay. Ada participants ke?
Cik Hazri boleh start
Boleh start Hello?
Ya boleh start.
Boleh start, tapi ada music
Ya Cik Hazri boleh start sekarang. Ya.
okay, alright.
Sekejap.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay. Okay.
Cik Hazri start video sekarang.
Dah. Okay. Thank you very much, Secretariats, PEM Secretariats. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And good morning to everyone. Wherever you are in this virtual platform this morning. Welcome to all participants and viewers to this webinar session for our second session 2 this morning, entitled it's gonna be about OSHIM. So we had with us 3 distinguished speakers this morning. But before that, let me introduce myself first. My name is Hazri bin Abdul Aziz, your moderator of this webinar session this morning. There will be 3 speakers with us this morning, so time is very, very short. We're going to have roughly about 1.5 hours. We're going to stop at 12:30, but to stop at 12:30, we're going to stop the speaker at least by 12:10 or 12:15 to allow for Q&A sections, at least 15 to 20 minutes. So please adjust your sessions to fit the Q&A at the very end of the sessions. Okay, today we have three distinguished speakers with us. The first one is the first one who is going to present today is Engineer Dr. Muhammad Fairuz Abdul Rahman from Ministry of Human Resource. It's actually the head of section head of the construction safety divisions in Ministry of Human Resource. And he's gonna talk about designer's role in OSHIM. And our second speaker is Engineer Dr. Nabila Sarbini from UTM. Sorry. From UTM. Is also a lecturer in UTM. She's going to talk about risk and hazard in constructions. And our last speaker will be architect technologist Samsiah Abdullah. She's going to talk about OSHIM safety by design. So without wasting more time, because I'm not gonna go through the synopsis because the time is limited. We only have 1.5 hours and roughly 15 to 20 minutes per speakers. So I will let the speakers to organize that to basically introduce on the synopsis of the topics by themselves. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to call Engineer Dr. Muhammad Fairuz Abdul Rahman to deliver his presentations with the title of Designer's Role in OSHIM. The floor is yours, Doctor. Thank you.
Thank you, Architect Hazri. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I hope you can see my slide now. Is it? I am sharing my slide.
Yes, yes.
It is a role of designers in the OSHIM guidelines. So there'll be this is just the details of the today's event. Thank you very much for inviting me. My name is Fairuz.
Dr. Fairuz, we can see your face.
You can see my face?
Yes.
Can you see?
No, I can't. I don't know whether it's technical glitch or do you?
All right.
Okay. Yes. Now I can see your face. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Sorry. So I will just minimize this one. So there are 6 main roles of designers outlined in the guidelines, OSHIM guidelines. The first one will be on the skills, knowledge, and experience. The second one is on the cooperation among the duty holders, among the project teams. Number 3, awareness of the client. And then number 4 is the safety through design. This is one of the topic that will be elaborated further by one of the speakers today. And the provision of information and communication, cooperation, and coordination. So first, before we elaborate further on the duty of the designers, the role of the designers, we have to know who are the designers. So the designers are the translation is in Malay. Whoever yang menyediakan atau mengubah suai, prepare or modify designs of a structure or anything, any systems on the structure, and that structure includes a temporary structure. And the designer also includes someone who arrange or direct someone else under his control to prepare or to modify designs. So these are the general definition of a designer in the OSHIM guidelines. And then preparing or modifying designs includes memilih falsafah dan prinsip reka bentuk, menetapkan bahan binaan, logi dan bahan. So whoever yang specify the construction materials, the plan to be used during construction, or the material to be used during construction, they are also designers. Those who specify the dimension and size of the structure of the buildings, yang mengguna pakai kriteria beban, menyediakan pelan kerja and the system of work, those are the designs. And then in short, the pereka bentuk includes architects, jurutera, surveyors, contractors, and also can be a client, and the interior designers. And then reka bentuk pula termasuklah lukisan reka bentuk, perincian reka bentuk, specification of the designs, the detailed specification, specification of the designs, jadual bahan, pengiraan reka bentuk. So the first peranan yang pertama lah is on the kemahiran, pengetahuan dan pengalaman, skill, knowledge and experience. Kalau kita baca garis panduan tu, dia mencadangkan sesiapa yang melantik pereka bentuk dan kontraktor kerja bina, those who appoint the designers and the contractors untuk bekerja bagi sesebuah projek haruslah mengambil langkah-langkah munasabah agar dia berpuas hati, so that he is satisfied that those who he appointed boleh melaksanakan kerja tersebut, mempunyai kemahiran, pengetahuan, pengalaman, dan sekiranya ia sebuah organisasi, sebuah syarikat, dia mempunyai organizational capability untuk melaksanakan kerja dengan cara yang menjamin keselamatan dan kesihatan. Jadi kalau kita lihat dari segi peranan pereka bentuk dalam aspek ni, sekiranya pereka bentuk tu melantik anyone to become a member of the project team, dia boleh dijadikan sebahagian daripada proses biasa untuk mendapati kehendak bahagian satu jadual kedua. Ini dalam architect rules yang saya bacalah. Maybe saya tak interpret dia correctly, tetapi apa yang saya faham, to faithful discharge of duties and obligation, it outlines that an architect shall maintain a professional standard of service and competence in area. So the competence here, although it is not defined clearly, it can mean in our case, in our guidelines, the competency refers to the skill, knowledge and experience in areas relevant to his professional work. By continually upgrading his professional knowledge and skills, an architect shall ensure that his employees are competent. So if you are an employer or part of the employer, you have to ensure that your employees are competent. From our perspective, the employees must have the skill, knowledge and experience and adequately supervised. So the level of supervision, although it is not detailed out maybe in these rules, to us it must be supervised according to the skill, knowledge and experience also. If your employees are new, then the level of supervision must be higher lah. Or if your employees has experience, then the level of supervision has to be adjusted accordingly to perform the task to the standard normally expected. This is not only mentioned in the architect rules but also in the engineering rule also, and accepted by the profession. So similarly dalam architect rules juga, dalam point number 3, it also explain on the requirement to be competent and also responsibly. I think this one, I'll just put it in this slide so that we can get the idea that the importance of knowledge, abilities, trainings, skills and experience in carry out our professional duties. So it is part of your practice and also becoming part of the OSHIM guidelines, the duty. So by having these guidelines, it will help the architects in particular and the designers in general to ensure that we have the skill, knowledge and experience accordingly to carry out our professional duties. And then the guideline also mencadangkan mereka bentuk haruslah berupaya membuktikan mereka mempunyai kemahiran, pengetahuan dan pengalaman. So not only the duty of the those who appointed project team members, but also those who seeking appointment. So if we as a designers looking for a job, we have to show proof to those who advertise for appointment that we have the skill, knowledge and experience to carry out the work safely and without risking the life of others when they are carrying out their work. And then the point number 2, the peranan yang kedua adalah bekerjasama dengan orang lain yang terlibat dalam projek atau apa-apa projek di tapak bersebelahan. So not only you have to cooperate with those who work in the same project, but also you have to cooperate with those who work on the nearby projects yang mungkin akan terkesan dengan projek kita ataupun projek dia lah. Jadi kerjasama ni pentinglah untuk kita carry out our professional duties. Without cooperation, it is very difficult lah to carry out our professional duties. And then saling bekerjasama ini bertujuan untuk memastikan keselamatan dan kesihatan. So maybe as of now we cooperate to ensure the successful of the project. Tetapi since the guideline is focusing on the safety and health, so it is just specify here that the cooperation bertujuan untuk memastikan keselamatan dan kesihatan bagi semua orang yang berkenaan lah. Sebab garis panduan ini memang berkaitan dengan keselamatan dan kesihatan pekerjaan. Kerjasama ini haruslah melibatkan komunikasi dengan orang lain dan memahami kerja yang mereka lakukan mengikut turutannya. So apa yang berlaku di construction ni kadang-kadang ada few works run concurrently. So apa yang berlaku dalam satu kerja tu mungkin akan membahayakan pekerja yang membuat kerja lain yang berlaku secara selari tu. Contohnya macam kes di Pulau Pinang tu, tanah runtuh tu, kerja-kerja pembaikian cerun tu berlaku serentak dengan kerja-kerja membina foundation of the building tu. So apabila satu bahaya yang tidak dapat dikawal oleh kontraktor yang buat cerun tu, dia membahayakan not only the workers yang currently working to repair the slope, but also the workers yang carry out the foundation works. So perlukan komunikasi antara several contractors, peoples yang work in the construction. So somehow as a designer, kita akan terlibatlah dalam supervision, dalam monitoring the progress of the construction activities. So we have to ensure that there is a communication, good communication among the project members. Dengan mengadakan mesyuarat penyelarasan, ini pun satu perkara yang biasalah, bukan satu perkara yang baru. Review meetings, progress meetings, monthly meetings, weekly meetings, daily meetings, semua adalah berlaku dalam projek pembinaan. Cuma kita nak stresskan di sini, the cooperation ni has to also include safety and health aspect of the projects. Not only progress of the project lah. So reka bentuk tidak seharusnya memulakan apa-apa kerja reka bentuk, melainkan dia berpuas hati bahawa klien tahu tentang peranannya. Ini peranan yang ketiga lah, kesedaran klien. So kesedaran klien ni penting lah untuk bantu designers carry out peranan dia dengan baik. Kalau klien tidak berikan kerjasama, atau kalau klien tidak menyediakan resources yang mencukupi, atau klien tidak memahami peranan dia, dan sukar untuk designers jalankan kerja dengan baiklah. So reka bentuk harus bertanya terus kepada klien berkenaan pengetahuannya berkaitan garis panduan inilah, peranan klien dalam garis panduan ini. So dalam garis panduan ini, not only it's specify the duties of the designers, but also dia mencadangkan peranan klien yang perlu dimainkan untuk memastikan projek pembinaan tu dapat dijalankan dengan selamat. Kewajipan ini boleh dipenuhi semasa aktiviti kerja rutin. So bukanlah kita cadangkan kerja baru dilaksanakan, tetapi kerja-kerja rutin yang sedia ada lah. Contohnya ketika mesyuarat atau pertemuan awal dengan klien untuk membincangkan projek. Biasanya selepas designers dapat menangnya projek itu, akan ada meeting lah. Dalam mesyuarat tu perlu designers tentukan bahawa klien tu faham tentang peranan mereka, supaya mudahlah untuk designers laksanakan tugas. Contohnya dari segi resources yang designers perlukan, arkitek perlukan untuk laksanakan tanggungjawab profesional dia, kan? Ataupun apa yang klien nak through the project, the function of the buildings ke, apa yang dia nak dapatlah through the project. So reka bentuk haruslah mempunyai pengetahuan yang secukupnya tentang peranan klien untuk memberikan nasihat. So biasanya reka bentuk ni, the lead designers ni akan menjadi the main advisors to the client. So kalau ada pengetahuan yang mencukupi, dan mudahlah untuk lead designers ni untuk advise the client on the projects punya keperluan lah. Contohnya dari segi budget ke, dari segi timing ke, dari segi pelantikan ke, kan? Dari segi technical aspect of the project yang sometimes klien ni tak berapa mahir lah. Tahap nasihat akan bergantung kepada pengetahuan dan pengalaman klien dan kesukaran projek. So kalau klien tu dah biasa dengan projek, contohnya macam I just say lah, macam IJM Land, kan? Biasanya mereka ni dah mahir lah dalam projek residential, kan? Contohnya. Jadi tak perlulah architects ni beri advice yang terlalu detail, sebab mereka pun ada maybe ada in-house architects yang mereka hired untuk bantu mereka. Dan juga kesukaran projek. Kalau projek dah biasa, then the level of advice tu akan kurang lah. Tu apa yang kita sebut dalam garis panduan kita lah. Kemudian kalau kita lihat juga dalam architect rules ni, an architect shall prior to commencing architectural consultancy services, notify the client in writing of the condition of engagement, the scale of fees and charges. So apa-apa yang kita buat, sebelum apa-apa kita buat, kita kena buat engagement dulu dengan klien, detailkan apa yang kita nak, apa yang kita perlukan. Samalah macam yang tadi tu. So apa yang kita tulis dalam garis panduan tu sebenarnya inline dengan apa yang ada dalam architect rules ni lah. Cuma saya terangkan apa yang berkaitan dengan architect lah, sebab ini program ni berkaitan architect. Tetapi kalau kita tengok dalam profesional yang lain pun, engineers ataupun QS pun, saya percaya kita akan dapat lihat perkara yang sama lah. Iaitu perlu ada agreement yang yang sama, seragam antara clients and designers to ensure that designers can carry out his professional duties. And then keselamatan melalui reka bentuk ni not only to protect the workers tetapi orang awam jugalah. Okay, semasa menyedia atau mengubah suai reka bentuk haruslah mengambil kira prinsip pencegahan dan maklumat pra-pembinaan. I hope in the presentation yang akan dibuat oleh our next presenters, dia akan touch on these things lah. Setakat yang praktik, as far as practicable untuk menghapuskan risiko yang dijangka, foreseeable risk. Foreseeable risk kepada pekerja ni not only pekerja pembinaan tetapi penyelenggaraan dan pembersihan atau yang menggunakan struktur sebagai tempat kerja. Ini fair lah kan. Kita punya tanggungjawab ni bukan setakat untuk ensure pekerja yang akan gunakan design kita tu dengan selamat, tetapi juga kepada pekerja yang akan buat penyelenggaraan dan pembersihan dan juga kerja yang akan buat pembinaan tu. Kalau pekerja penyelenggaraan dan pembersihan tidak dapat dijalankan dengan selamat, maybe the buildings akan tidak dapat disenggara dengan baik lah kan. Building yang mungkin satu hari bila siap first time tu cantik, tetapi after 10 to 20 years dia akan tidak kekal cantik lah. So apa yang dalam engineers punya regulation, kita pun ada sebutlah berkaitan dengan discharge his professional duties with due skill, care, diligence and good faith. At all time hold paramount the safety, health and interest of the public. Public ni betul lah tu, termasuk pekerja lah kan. And then dalam ni pun sama juga, in the interest of the public. So sama dia punya hasrat dia, intention of the guidelines dengan rules and regulation yang ada dalam professional field ni, the intention tu samalah untuk protect the public. Cuma dalam garis panduan kita OSHIM ni, dia include the workers lah, sebab the guideline ni berkaitan dengan keselamatan dan kesihatan pekerjaan. Pekerja yang menjalankan kerja-kerja pembinaan, maintenance and cleaning, semua tu. And then proses reka bentuk selamat ni, dia ada few proses.
Dr. Fairuz? Dr. Fairuz, you got another 5 minutes before sebab our time is limited.
Alright.
Kita ada lebih kurang 20 to 35 minutes per speaker. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Jazri. Okay, first you have to identify the hazards, and then you have to carry out risk assessment, and then you have to use the general principle of prevention. And if it is practical, if you can eliminate at that stage, then you have to eliminate. If it is not possible, then you have to go to the next step lah. Okay, bahaya pembinaan ni, these are some of the things that you have to consider during construction fasa pembinaan. Dan bahaya-bahaya berkaitan dengan penyelenggaraan dan pembersihan. Dan bahaya, if it is not practical to eliminate the hazards, this is what you should do lah. You have to mengambil langkah untuk mengurangkan, you have to reduce atau tidak praktik mengawal risiko melalui proses reka bentuk berikutnya. Dan penyediaan maklumat. So jika bahaya tu tidak dapat dihapuskan during design stage, then you have to provide information to the contractors, to the building owners yang akan operate dan juga maintain the structure selepas ianya siap. Penyediaan maklumat, apa maklumat yang perlu, ini some of the information yang designers mungkin ada yang perlu diberi kepada pekerja ataupun people yang akan yang akan bekerja untuk fasa yang next lah. So benda ni lah 8 ni. And then maklumat ni mudah difahami, ringkas, jelas dan tepat. Penyampaian maklumat dia ambil maklum, dia kena notify lah yang dia telah terima. And then gunakan nota pada lukisan reka bentuk, advice note pada lukisan lah. And then kerjasama dan penyeliaan boleh dicapai dengan perjumpaan berkala, saya dah sedangkan. Kesepakatan mengenai prinsip umum penilaian bahaya dan risiko, mengadakan mesyuarat semakan reka bentuk, ini pun perkara yang biasa juga. Lukisan reka bentuk yang diselaraskan. So kadang-kadang tu bila berlaku aksiden ni, bila kita siasat, there are few versions of design drawings, yang mana contractors ada dia punya design sendiri, drawing sendiri, designers ada design dia sendiri kan, drawing dia sendiri. So kita pun tak tahu which one is the yang digunakan untuk pembinaan lah. And then lastly lah, sebelum saya akhiri saya punya presentation ni, build the team then build the project. Maksudnya the teamwork dalam satu projek ni penting. Jadi perlu ada setiap duty holders dalam projek tu perlu faham apa peranan dia, barulah ada wujudnya kerjasama, communication dan penjelasan yang baiklah. Setakat tu je lah untuk saya, presentation saya pada hari ini. Sekian, terima kasih.
Okay, thank you very much, Engineer Dr. Muhammad Fairuz Abdul Rahman, for your insightful presentations. Thank you. But don't you stay in the room first. I think we're gonna get you back for the Q&A sessions. I think 15 to 20 minutes before the end of the session, before 12:30. I think I'll try to get it as later by 12:15 or 12:10 or 12:15.
All right.
All right. See you later. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we come to our next speakers, Engineer Dr. Nabila Sabini. She's going to be talking about risk and hazard in constructions. Okay. Whenever you're ready, Dr. Nabila, the floor is yours. Thank you. You need to unmute. Unmute your mic.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I already share my slide. So my name is Nur Nabila. So I'm actually a senior lecturer in School of Civil Engineering, Faculty of Engineering, UTM. So the topic that I will share today is on the design decision for safer work method. So this topic is actually related to the one that Engineer Fairuz already mentioned. Okay, it's about one guidelines. So that guideline is actually what we call as OSHIM. OSHIM is actually stand for Occupational Safety and Health in Construction Industry Management. Okay. So this is the outline of my presentation. Okay, a bit on the background of this topic. So what actually the safe work method, a bit on the benefits, the key elements for a safe work, and examples of the related key elements, the scope of the design decision, as we mentioned about the design decision for a safer work method, and the process to decide the best design, and lastly, a conclusion for this topic. So for the background, I would like to highlight, okay, on the hazard and the risk assessment. So this is actually what is actually new for us as a designer. So regardless you are actually an architect, or maybe for me as an engineer, this is actually a new thing which we need to identify a hazard and do the risk assessment so that we can reduce or maybe eliminate that respective hazard, okay, so that we will for sure provide a better, kind of safe environment, not just for our workers, but also for the occupants. Okay, so it is actually about the integration of that hazard identification to the risk assessment, which this need to be carried out early during the design process. Okay, so that when actually the what we call the project need to be started, all those hazards already minimized or maybe already eliminated. So that is the purpose of the respective guidelines, which actually what the previous speaker mentioned about. Okay, so this is actually safer work method. So what actually is safer work method? So if you see here, oh, I don't have any highlighter or what. Okay, it's okay. Okay, I will just use my cursor here. Okay, so the first point is actually is a method that guide a worker through a task from the start to finish in a chronological order. So if you see this statement, this is actually what we call as a it's a typical standard. For example, in the context of construction, maybe we will refer as a SOP, okay, or maybe a method statement, for example, when we want to use certain method during the construction phase. Okay, so this is very common. Okay, but what makes is actually a safer work method or safer method statement? Okay, we need to inject an element of what we call as a safe job. Okay, so that safe job for sure need to be designed so that it will become a very systematic and embedded inside our work method or our method statement. So that is how we define safer work method, right? So when we use or when we embed the safer work method during our construction activities, okay, so for sure it is actually due to the benefit that involve with such implementation. Okay, so if you see here, it can simplify risk control. Okay, as I mentioned previously, when we talk about what we call a safer work method, we need, kind of look at the design aspect. Okay, so we control the design aspect so that our design that we propose for that respective project will have a very minimum or maybe no risk. Okay, so this is actually related to the risk control. Okay, so I will discuss it after a few slides on the risk control. Okay, and then the second point is actually on the prevention of injury. For sure, when we control the risk, when we reduce the risk and even eliminate the risk, for sure we will prevent any injury or accidents that related to our design or to our project. Okay, and then the next point is actually improve usability of the system and facilities. For sure, when our building or our project is very, secure in terms of the safety, it actually will improve the usability and the, kind of secure of the respective user or the occupants of the respective structure of buildings. Okay, and then to meet the legislative responsibility, for sure, we as a designer, we have the responsibility, to give the better service, okay, which actually secure the safety of the public, right? And then reduce need for redesign, retrofitting, and its associated costs. Okay, so when we do the risk control early during the design phase, okay, so we can, kind of eliminate any possibility to do a redesign during the construction phase. Okay, why actually they do the redesign during the construction phase? Because of, for sure, because of the risk, because of maybe there is an occurrence of the accidents. Okay, so when we eliminate it during the design phase, for sure, it will, cover, maybe improve in terms of the needs to provide extra cost for any redesign or retrofitting, or even maybe need a modification for the respective building. And of course, it's actually innovation. So there are so many benefits when we actually provide a safer work method in the construction industry. Okay, so this is the 5 key elements for a safer work method, meaning that when we want to propose a safer work method, okay, so they are elements which we need to consider. Okay, it's not just about the design. Okay, so because design is actually part of it, but in order to make sure that the successful okay, of the things that we actually decide, okay, so they need more collaborations, okay. So that's why here inside the guidelines, okay, it highlighted 5 key elements, okay. So the first key element is actually people. So, okay, so people, appointing the right people and organizations at the right time. Okay, so who are those people? So those people actually the duty holders. Okay, so in the context of this guideline of OSHIM, the duty holders actually referred to the designer. We have also the principal designer. We have the contractor, or we also referred as a constructor, okay, and even the client. Okay, so that's the beauty of this guideline, because now the client actually need to have, you know, the what we call, we make sure that the client also have the responsibility, the right up, okay, the formality, okay, which actually show the responsibility of the client. Okay, so for sure, because normally we as a designer, we just follow what actually the client wants. Okay, so initially that risk for the design that we provide is actually initiated by the client. Okay, and then the second point is actually risk management. Okay, so we have RM here. It's not Ringgit Malaysia, so it's a risk management. So what is actually the RM? We manage the risk by applying the risk management approach and the general principles of the prevention. So in order for us to provide a safer work method, as I mentioned previously, we need to conduct the risk assessment. Okay, so the whole process of the assessment, we also refer as the risk management. So it's actually a very systematic process. Okay, although we actually we actually practice. Okay, we actually practice because for sure we as a designer, we don't want any accidents, okay, any injury to occur, right? Okay, we already been done. Okay, but the purpose of this guideline or the OSHIP is actually just one to make sure that everything is documented, everything is actually systematic, right? And then the third one is actually information. So making sure everyone has the information, has the instruction, has enough sufficient training and supervision that they need to carry out their jobs in a way that secures safety and health. Okay, so it's actually involve designer and also for the construction workers, right? And then number 4 is coordination. Okay, so duty holders cooperating and communicating with each other and coordinate their work. Okay, so it is a responsibility for all duty holders, regardless you as a designer, regardless you as an architect, or maybe you as just a CNS engineer or a QS, okay? So you need to cooperate, you need to have a very effective communication between each other, right? And then the last point is actually sustainable, okay? So consulting workers and engaging with them to promote and develop effective measures to secure safety, health, and welfare. So if you see here, all these 5 key elements, okay, is actually cover for the whole life cycle of the respective building, okay, or maybe what we call as a project. Okay, so there is two, a project life cycle or building life cycle. But in the context of OSHIM, okay, the approach that we propose is actually for the whole, okay, building life cycle, right? Okay, so this is an example of a people. Okay, I would like to share so a bit on a case study. Okay, so let's say there is a proposed mixed development project, okay, which this client actually required a high-rise building to be designed, which at the top floor with a curved sky bridges, right? Okay, so the client already appointed a building designer for the design. Okay, but then they realized that this designer actually did not have experience and even a knowledge to design such curved sky bridges. Okay, as I mentioned previously, appointing a right people at the right time So what this client do, okay, so it means that this case is actually good, okay. This client appointed a bridge designer to design the curved sky bridges. Okay, so this is actually the mindset of the OSHIM. Okay, because we don't want everyone to cut costs. For sure, when we talk about client, they love to cut costs. Okay, even the contractor, right? Okay, code, okay, so meanings that there will be some occasion of which when, for example, the client thinks that okay, what if we just give experience for this the first initially appointed designer to just design the bridge. Okay, so maybe there will be a risk, okay, that may be initiated due to such decision. Okay, but of course this need to be, there are many things need to be considered during the decision. Okay, this is just an example. Okay, there are many other examples when we talk about appointing the right people at the right time. Okay. Okay, so another example is on the systematic risk management. Okay, so in the context of the guideline, okay, of OSHIM, okay, there are three what we call as a stages, very important stages which we need to conduct the systematic risk management. Okay, so if you see here, the first stage is actually what we call as a concept design review. As the name is concept, okay, so our design is all about the concept. It's all about the initial design context. Okay, so for sure this one, okay, will depends on the type of the contract of the respective project. Okay, it was either the traditional or maybe a design on build. Okay, and then the second stage is actually what we call as a detailed design review. Okay, so for the detailed design review, okay, as the name is detailed, for sure, in terms of the hazard identification, in terms of the risk assessment, there are more elements need to be considered. Okay, because it is already detailed. All right, and then after this review process already done, okay, we will proceed to the last stage, which what we call as a pre-construction review. Okay, normally for the pre-construction review, the elements will be on the, for example, the temporary works, all the works that actually were related to the specialists. Okay, because at this stage, okay, our design is about to be realized. Okay, before the construction is actually being implemented. Okay, so these three stages, okay, need to be conducted before final drawing or final design, okay, actually endorsed for the construction. Okay, so that is about the OSHIM. Okay, so this is how what I mentioned about the control hazard. Okay, so when we do the previous three stages of the what we call systematic risk management, okay, so all these three stages, okay, need to be carried out with a risk assessment. Okay, so that risk assessment need to be conducted based on the hierarchy of control. Okay, so this is a general hierarchy of control. Okay, for example, okay, the minimum that the designer, okay, can propose is actually by the PPE. But for sure, when we talk about the PPE, it's just a very minimum, meaning that the hazard is there. We just use the PPE. Okay, so the chances to injuries to occur, the chances to accident to occur is actually still higher. Okay, so it's best to reduce the risk. So how to reduce the risk? We can try to do the administrative controls, for example, do the training for our workers, for example, okay, and a very systematic or well-planned work scheduling, okay. And if we think that the respective, kind of hazard can still, in terms of the risk can still be reduced, okay, we try to do the engineering control, which is try to isolate the respective what we call hazard and so on. Okay, or maybe we can provide a guide, for example. Okay, and then if you see here, the best hierarchy of control is actually the elimination. Design it out. Okay, for example, we change our design. Okay, maybe we think that that design for sure will cause death to, for example, workers during the construction or even during the for example operation or even for the maintenance. Okay, so this is actually the responsibility of all duty holders for the respective project. Okay, so aim of design decision for sure: safe construction, safe use, safe maintenance, safe modify or demolish. So all of these need to be covered during the 3 stages that I previously mentioned. Okay, so the process involved, okay, so this is actually the flow chart, which actually the process involved during the risk assessment. Okay, for example, need to be consult among the duty holders. Okay, so we conduct the analysis for the respective hazard with that associated design that we decide. Okay, identify the hazard, do the risk control and so on. And let's say lastly, if we think that the design is actually all okay, everything is actually in a proper way, is actually the risk is actually being controlled, then we can finalize our design and it's actually ready to be implemented during the construction phase. So all of this is actually about safety. Okay, so this safety is actually need to be coordinate between all those personnel that involved during the construction, client, designer, and even the contractor. Okay, so this is actually the guideline that of what we mentioned, OSHIM, Occupational Safety and Health in Construction Industry Management. So further information, you can browse through this www.dosh.gov.my, okay, about the OSHIM. So with that, okay, by working together, we can identify and eliminate or maybe reduce as far as is reasonably practicable. Okay, this is very important, reasonably practicable or foreseeable design risk to safety or health of any person. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Nur Nabila, for your loaded informations. Presentations. I think it's been very insightful presentations. Thank you very much. I'll see you in a Q&A session afterwards. Thank you. All right, we'll come to our last speaker of the day for this session 2, which is going to talk about OSHIM Safety by Design. Is architect technologist Dr. Samsiah, architect technologist Samsiah binti Abdullah. For the I think OSHIM Safety by Design. I think architect Samsiah, are you ready for the next presentations?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, whenever you're ready, the floor is yours. With the topic of OSHIM Safety by Design. Thank you.
Yes, saya cuba nak share. Tak keluar. Okay. This one.
Okay, for the benefit of the participant out there who is joining us via these platforms, Architect Samsiah is actually a senior architect, a senior lecturer in UTM. I think she has served UTM for more than 10 years, as well as having her own practice since 2012. Which is Samsiah Architects, and she's also actively involved in publishing papers on this on the safety in construction constructional projects, and has been involved with many projects with the government agencies. So perhaps with that experience, we'll take that experience into her own presentations today. Are you ready?
Yes, yes.
Okay, the floor is yours.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. So I think semua boleh dengar ya. Boleh dengar saya ya? Boleh dengar. Alright then.
Boleh.
Okay.
Boleh.
Alright, thank you. I think thank you Mr. Moderator. Okay, since masa like 20 minutes kan, saya ada like 40 slides. So it's like half a minute for slides lah, for one slide. So okay, I go very quickly. Yeah, I think the most important parts sebenarnya have been explained by IR Dr. Fairuz and also IR Dr. Nabila. Yeah, the gist of occupational safety and construction industry management, OSHIM. Yeah, so I will talk about safety by design, but kalau kita nak cakap pasal safety by design ni sampai besok pun tak habis. Yeah, so I just pick sikit. So hopefully we just get the idea of what it means by safety by design. Okay, so apa yang dikatakan safety by design konsep ni ialah dan apa yang dimaksudkan dalam OSHIM juga, ya, it covers during construction, usage, life cycle of the building, maintenance and also demolition, ya. Dan kalau tak silap saya, Dr. Nabila ataupun Dr. Fairuz ada mention pasal safety and health files, ya. So that file the team ataupun the principal designer need to provide at the end of the project and pass to the client. Yeah, so client akan simpan that file that contains all the records of what happened during the design throughout sampai the construction, whether there's any design changes, any design reviews, or the decision done or made by the client, semua ada kat dalam tu. So dalam masa yang sama, it helps during the maintenance and also nanti during the demolition. Perasan tak dulu ada satu shopping complex dekat KL tu, it's like they don't actually perhaps the contractor didn't know what actually the construction system used, then the building actually collapsed. Ke atas tu ada excavator lah, benda semua heavy machinery, and I think we are aware of that project. So lepas tu baru saya rasa all the local authority insist that all demolition works kena ada submission. I think that is the highlight of it. So okay. So alamak, saya punya screen ni like covers my slides pula. How to change? Tadi saya dah change. Sekejap. Okay, saya dah present the view. Okay, so under the WHS Act and Regulation and OHS laws, so kita mention kat sini. In fact tadi pun Dr. Fairuz ada mention lah kan, dia kata architects and designers have a duty to ensure as far as reasonably practicable that the structure to be designed is without risk at any time when used as a workplace. So bila dihuni ataupun ada orang buat kerja kat situ, dia mesti pastikan selamat. But kat sini dia mention as far as reasonably practicable. So bila kita launch OSHIM ni, ramailah especially architects marah, macam mana kita nak control kontraktor yang buat kerja kat site, macam mana kita nak control dia punya safety? It's not our duty. Yes, it's not our duty. So OSHIM ni dia tidak melangkau akta-akta lain ya, contohnya OSHA ataupun BOWAX ya, yang pantau di construction process ya, dia masih ada ya. So safety during construction yang melibatkan PPE semua tu masih lagi ada ya, tidak dikatakan bila ada OSHIM ni kontraktor pun boleh sit back and relax, tidak ya. So jadi di sini sejauh mana yang you boleh buat untuk eliminate the risk, you have to do it. And you have to prove it bila ada safety and health files tu. Yeah?
Architect Samsia, sorry to interrupt. I think that's a request from the chat box that to present in English. Probably this is from foreign listeners.
Oh, all right. Okay,
probably.
okay. Kita
alright,
terbiasa rojak. Okay, sorry then. All right. Okay, so again, safety by design is an approach initiated by DOSH to prevent or reduce occupational injuries, illness, and fatalities by including prevention consideration in all design that might affect workers. Yeah. So I think just now, Dr. Fairuz also mentioned who is the designers, and Dr. Nabila also mentioned about the process. Yeah. So basically, what I'm trying to share here is beyond that. Yeah. So what we can do ataupun things that we can consider. Minor things that we can consider during our design process. Okay, so dekat sini here Woods 2003 mentioned that to fail to plan is to plan to fail, meaning to say if you didn't plan, if you didn't plan, basically you plan to fail. Yeah, the project will fail at one point. Yeah, okay. Okay, so here I'm going to explain why OSHIM. What is OSHIM and how to implement OSHIM very quickly because I have a lot of slides. All right. Here, okay. If you can see here, the construction fatal accident rates 2012-2017. You can see 2017 the rates goes up to 14.6%. Yeah. And so we said that. So how we can eliminate this? Yeah. Okay, so basically we said, okay, perhaps some people say, okay, when accident happens, perhaps some point, yes, you lost some money. But actually there are other causes, not only the project cost, but other uninsured costs that is actually involved. Yeah. Okay, so the significance of construction OSH management guidelines. So I think just now in Dr. Nabila's slides, ada mention, ada show this book. Yeah, so this is the guideline. Yeah, so across US, 42% of construction fatalities were related to design issues between the years 1990 and 2003. 1991 study done in Europe found that 60% of fatalities were the result of decision made before the site work even began. And 63% of all fatalities and injuries could be attributed to design decision of lack of planning. Yeah. So the sources are as listed below. So what is OSHIM? Yeah. So basically OSHIM, as mentioned just now also, an innovative safety management technique in which design professionals explicitly consider the safety of construction and maintenance workers during the design process. Yeah. So key elements of OSHIM are as listed. Yeah. So I think Dr. Nabila also mentioned this just now. Yeah, managing the risk. Yeah, making sure everyone has the information, instruction, training, and supervision, so everybody fit for the job. And then appointing the right people, organization at the right time. Duty holders cooperating and communicating with each other and coordinating their work. And fifth is consulting workers and engaging with them to promote and develop effective measures to secure safety, health, and welfare. Okay, so as I mentioned just now, the OSHIM guidelines or the OSHIM process does not stop at designing. Yeah, but also during construction, pre-construction, and also post-construction. Yeah. So OSHIM for architects, as mentioned, also the current setup, because why? Because the current setup fails to recognize that the safety of the workers are to a large extent influenced by the product design. Yeah, BAM mentioned that, demonstrated. BAM reports that it demonstrated that more than 40% of construction fatalities could be linked to decisions taken during the design phase. And I think this one we have mentioned in the other slides just now. And also studies from the European Foundations and NSW Work Cover 2001. Yeah, roles of the designers, architects, and engineers are not utilized to the fullest to reduce hazard for the construction workers. Yeah, because we know that basically part and parcel of our duty is basically to eliminate or to reduce, yeah, to ensure that the design is safe. Most contractors see their responsibility towards workers' safety and well-being as merely as a requirement that they must fulfill in order to avoid penalties. Yeah? As a result, they often neglect the proper implementation of this plan. Yeah? This is according to Wang et al. 2006 and Sorin Formosa and Cambria 2008. Okay, so we have seen so many construction accidents worldwide, not just Malaysia. Yeah, if you search or you Google construction accident, you can see so many information. Yeah, and this one Taman Desa, and previously I think the LRT accidents and so on. Yeah, so how to stop? Yeah, okay. So again, yeah, Malaysia punya Malaysia cases. Yeah, so you tengok, you don't have to see big projects. Yeah, you don't have to see big projects to realize what is wrong. Yeah, so you see if in this slides you see how the workers actually tie the rope to the neck. Yeah, that is the way to actually say, oh, I actually buckle up myself. This is my harness, perhaps. Yeah, so nobody monitor. So, or perhaps, yeah, you can say that, oh, this is not our duty as a designer. Yes, yeah, but our duty, one of the designer might be the QS. Yeah, have you actually provided enough provision for safety in the contract? Yeah, so you can question that. Step, yeah, give me 1 minute. Let me drink some water. Okay, so this project collapsed, yeah, in Shanghai, and you might say, oh, China, of course lah, this thing happens a lot. No, this is not because of where it is, but basically it's how our attitude towards the work. Yeah, it can happen in Malaysia. It happens in Malaysia, in fact. Okay, so when there's no communication, so what do you think about these slides? Yeah. And some people ask me, so what comes first, the pipe or the beam? So that is not the key element, but basically it's the communication. Yeah. Okay, this is Vidara Hotel and Spa in Los Angeles a long time ago, 2009. What happened is that the building has this facade, yeah, with glass cladding, yeah, glass curtain walls, yeah. So it is installed because of the shape or the massing is actually in having this curved facade. It makes that at the end of the day, it becomes it focuses the power of the sun directly to the swimming pool area below. Yeah. So what happened is that the people or the visitors who actually use the public the swimming pool actually get burned, yeah, from the they call it death ray, yeah, the sunlight actually focus at one point and actually burn the certain part of the swimming pool. Okay, so Yeah, it comes with a cost. Yeah, when we did like these seminars, yeah, people say, oh, who's going to cover the cost? Basically, the cost actually should be covered to the person who actually create the risk. Yeah, siapa yang create the risk? Who create the risk? Of course lah, is the client. Yeah, the client has to bear the cost of safety. He's responsible. Yeah. Okay, how to implement OSHIM? Okay, so just now we talk about designer, who is designer. Yeah? So I think I don't have to repeat this. Yeah. So, but basically the designers are not only architects. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Yeah, it can be an engineer, it can be a contractor himself. If it's a design and build project, perhaps. Yeah. So it depends on how the arrangement of the contract as well. Yeah. So okay, I think we can pass this. So basically through review meetings, yeah. And when I say review meetings, of course we have done, architect says, of course we have conducted a lot of meetings throughout the project, yeah. But have you actually recorded everything? Yeah, so there's a specific document that says that, oh, we have done the review and tried and make our effort to actually eliminate the risk. I don't think so. Yeah. And I don't want to say or pinpoint or say anybody, but actually, if we don't do that, if the government didn't actually enforce this, perhaps there are some projects which don't have enough meetings or coordination, yeah, coordination meeting, toolbox meeting, for example, yeah, to actually see what's going on, yeah. Okay, with designers and contractors who may affect design, construction, and management at various key stages of the project, during which identified foreseeable design risks, if not eliminated, is reduced and residual risks are recorded and communicated. Yeah, it's typically conducted during pre-construction phase, but can be done during construction phase as well. Yeah, look at the design risk which begins on the drawing board and consider how a building or structure can be constructed, maintained, clean, and demolished safely. Yeah, so we can say here that, of course, during the construction process, yeah, there are meetings where we conducted because then the design need to be altered at some point. Yeah, so that has to be recorded. Who actually insists why the design change happened? Yeah, so that need to be put in that safety and health file. Yeah. Okay, consultation and engagement, of course, it is required under the law, yeah, helping spot workplace risk, and knowing what to do about them, making sure safety and health controls are appropriate, increasing level of commitment to working in a safe and healthy way, yeah. Okay, so we talk about safety and design, yeah, when we're hired by a client, yeah, let's say for residential or commercial or whatever, yeah, the architect must also adhere to the public safety and health requirements while accommodating their customers' requests. Yeah, during the design phase, the designer will consult with engineers, surveyors, and other specialists to ensure that the soil can hold to the weight of the structure, and they will assess the environmental impact of placing the structure on the site, among other things. Also, the design must adhere to building codes as well as local planning and zoning laws. This might include creating windows of certain heights, having the right numbers of fire exits, and using proper setbacks. Of course, architect says, okay, we have done that. Yes, OSHIM or DOJ never said that you haven't done it, but please record it. Yeah. So safety during construction, yeah, the architect also must ensure that their design is constructed in accordance with their design and specifications. Often the architect plays an extensive role in the development, collaborating with the general contractor and being present during safety inspection. The architects also provide site instruction, inspect periodically during construction, and reviews construction submission to ensure compliance. Yeah. So what I can say is that OSHIM didn't actually change what that is already is. Yeah, it's just that how you do it We want it to be done in a proper way. Yeah. Okay. So this I think you are familiar with. Yeah. Safety has to come first. So whenever that you have done all that you can, then you have the residual risk can be actually tackled by what do you call it, management type, yeah, PPE and all these things lah, yeah. Okay. Okay, and this is what I share with, I can share here. I take a quote from Brian Whitmore. So in fact, when we talk about safety, it's not just the safety during the construction, but also in OSHIM, when you start the work, you have to go to the site and actually study the site. I mean, that is what we do, isn't it? But also the community engagement. Yeah, perhaps you are new to the area, you don't know the area, engage the community, perhaps. Yeah. So what is the area about? Is it safe? Is it, high crime rate or whatnot? Yeah. So position administration front and center, it says. I think I do agree. I think we all try to do this to control security with design. Yeah, using design. Provide doors and windows hardware with the ability to lock down. Yeah. This I always remember because I think most of my students, they like to design everything open out. There's a connection from the main road. People can just walk in and walk through your building. Yeah, so no security. Yeah, students, I always highlight this. Yeah, there's to one extent you actually have to lock your building, secure your building. Yeah. Consider the overall placement of security system. Yeah, so how many architects actually design with security in mind? Yeah, so develop an inward focused design. Yeah, access to natural light is critical to design of educational, corporate, residential space to all building. Yeah, but can also weaken the line of defense. Yeah. Consider the placement of glazing facing inwards or towards a safe environment. If glazing must be placed adjacent to exterior of public way, consider locating it above ridge or with enough strength and ability to be obscured in case of unsafe situation. And there are actually many more guidelines for safety by design. Yeah, this is among others that I can share here today. Okay, and also we talk about safety for maintenance activity. Yeah, okay, based on the outline of cost derived from the work from Gibson 1979, the implication of design fault on maintenance in building has resulted from the following. Yeah, thermal movement, inefficient detailing, improper material selection, and consequence of poor design for access for maintenance measures. Yeah. See in this picture, yeah. So he is very creative. He wants to maintain, I think, the roof or the wall cladding. He used 3 ladders, yeah, or 4 ladders there, yeah. So very creative but very unsafe, yeah. Okay, here you can see from the right, yeah, no planning for aircon ledge, yeah. We can see that everywhere, mostly shop lots. Yeah, housing, yeah, especially low-cost housing, yeah. These days, people in low-cost housing also need air conditioning because it's hot, yeah. Okay, and then this one on the left is wrong planning because you put all the AC condenser at one place and there's not enough space or void to actually bring out the heat. Yeah, so the heat goes back. Yeah, so this also happen in shop lots in Malaysia as well. Is it? When you have you actually put your condenser at one portion and that space or the space behind it becomes very hot. Yeah. Okay. So here you spread the aircon ledge. This is simple thing. Yeah. Simple thing that perhaps we can actually do in our design. Yeah. And then this one, aircon ledge. So from the office, you can actually walk out and maintain. Yeah, you don't have to use any access from outside. Yeah, you can just access from inside and service your aircon. Yeah, see, eliminate for hazard for aircon technicians. They are human. Yeah, they live. They work for living. Yeah, but they have to actually put their life at risk. Yeah, so many people holding this guy. Yeah, and this one, the aircon is actually almost fall down. You just imagine if it falls down and people actually walk past the area. Yeah, and I think there are a lot of cases like this happen in Malaysia. Yeah, and this guy actually sitting on the ledge. Yeah, and this is, I think, is 11th floor up. Yeah, so how do we put the price of human life here? Yeah, okay, but this one, improper use of aircon condenser. They put their things up on the aircon compressor. This one, he used it to actually hang the laundry. And this one, when you provide the aircon latch too big, the occupants actually complain as well. This one is in Singapore, you know, because the price of per square foot is very expensive, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, this one I share this photo. I'm in this photo. Now, this is in Putra PWTC. We are at 36th floor. You can see the one that I circled. You just imagine these two guys actually washing or cleaning the windows. Yeah, they are actually hanging. Yeah, by the I don't know what it's called. Yeah, but you just imagine if there's any faulty or errors. Yeah, this is 36th floor. Yeah, why isn't any provision for maintenance here? Yeah, but of course you say, oh, this is those days. This is how they actually design it. Yeah. Okay, so this one design fail, of course. Supposed to be disable access, yeah, but there's a steps, yeah. And this one structural failure, yeah. This one is in Canada, if I'm not mistaken. It's a project done by the university there, and they use sort of like internal consultants. The lecturers are actually the consultants, and eventually the structure fails. Yeah, and of course, I mentioned just now Highland Tower tragedy, the collapse. I think everybody remembers this. Yeah. So, but it's a long story behind it. I don't want to share it, but you can actually Google for those who don't know. Yeah, and then and also, as I said, the little things that we can do, the little things that we can change in our design. For example, if you use the green, this is very famous nowadays, kan? The green, vertical greens, yeah. But have we considered how to maintain it? Yeah, because the greens actually that you actually put on your facade, if you don't maintain it, it becomes a fire hazard because it dies. Yeah, and then it becomes a fire hazard. Yeah, and then yeah, this one it says that 5,000 kids fall from windows each year. Yeah, so we have to be creative in our design. And then when you are designing, for example, for housing, don't use this horizontal railings, yeah, because horizontal railings, kids can see it as a playground. Everything is a toy. Everything is a thing that they can actually play with. Yeah. And this one, you can actually install netting to actually provide from falling and so on. So you can actually be creative. Yeah. So, okay. I think this has come to the end of my slides. So I think I'm doing well on the time, Mr. Moderator.
We'll give you another 2 minutes to wrap up.
2 minutes. Okay. Okay, what I meant here is, and also my other colleagues, yeah, it's not to say that OSHIM should actually replace other acts. Yeah, the other act are still there, is actually implemented. And OSHIM is not meant for architects only. Yeah, don't get it wrong. Yeah, because I was pressured a lot by that. Yeah, so everybody said that, oh, why actually you want to put pressure on the architects, yeah, as the principal designer? No, not necessarily. If you are not appointed as the principal designer, then you are not playing that role. Yeah, you are actually a designer for the project that you are hired or you are appointed with. Yeah, so it's up to the client. Perhaps the client want to appoint the project manager as the principal designer. Who knows? Yeah. So it's not entirely automatically the architects. Yeah. So I think what we are sharing here is actually the basic or the overview of OSHIM. Yeah. So if you want to know more about OSHIM or to become a professional competent person, please join us. And in fact, today, as we speak here, we are actually conducting OSHIM Professional Competent Person online, yeah, and there are other sessions on 27 and 28, and also 3rd, 4th, and 10 and 11 April this year. It's next coming month, yeah. So 27 and 28 March, yeah, and also 3rd, 4th, 10, and 11. Please join us. Okay, so come and join us. Okay, so I think that's all from me and from the OSHIM team. And thank you to Pam to give us this opportunity to actually share with everyone. Yeah, so thank you.
Okay, thank you, Architect Samsha, for your very interesting talks, especially on the lot of slides shows the pictures of what can be the hazards, the pictorial scene of what can be the risk of one, not just during construction, of can be of a completed projects. So thank you. I think there's a lot of awareness. I think if contractors or designers that participating in this morning's talk can take note of that and learn and implement it in your future design or future projects. I think one that takes, I think we'll go straight into the Q&A sessions. I think I'll ask, I'll start with engineer Dr. Fairoz first. On the, you talk about, how important it is to organize the meetings, to review and to check on the design during in a separate interval times, so it can be done, a series of coordination meetings to check on the design. So how often is that being done in your observations or in your views through your studies or research in this topic? How is this normally being conducted? How do you distinguish or segregate the coordination meetings, safety meeting, the regular safety meetings, and OSHIM meetings? Or do you need the OSHIM meetings regularly, or safety meetings? How do you separate OSHIM meetings and safety meetings? Or does it come together, or does it come separately? Dr. Fairoz.
Thank you, Architect Hazri. I think the guidelines is trying to integrate the safety and health issues with other issues that has been worked on by the project team, such as the timing of the projects, the quality of the projects, and also the budgeting of the projects. So the review meetings has to be conducted as it is necessary. It depends on the on the complexity of the projects and how the project progresses. For example, from during the conceptual design, perhaps you don't need to carry out a regular progress meeting. But as the project develops into detailed design, and when you have appointed more designers, you have involved more designers in your project team. For example, to design the systems, the mechanical system, electrical system, the structural, the foundation, geological aspect of your projects, then you will have flow of information, more information. So as the information you receive, then you need sometimes to convey this information to other designers. Perhaps the structural designers will need information on the soil conditions, and the electrical designers need information on the structural or mechanical designers to carry out his design properly. So, like one of the pictures of a sewerage system in the building that has go through the beam. In one of the picture presented by Architect Samsia, this is lack of the coordination or information passed through to the different designers in a project that may cause the project to fail or delay or whatever it is. So the meetings, the OSHIM review meetings or design review meeting, it should be an integral parts of the projects, and it should be conducted as one, and the frequency should depend on the complexity, and as the project progresses, I think the meetings should be conducted more regularly, but information can be passed as it is available, because nowadays we have many facilities, WhatsApp, video call, many things that can help designers to communicate. And then the key things is the communication, the cooperation and the coordination among the project team members to ensure not only safety and health, but also the quality, the timing of the project, and also the budgeting of the project is met. Thank you, Architect Azri.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Fairuz. I think okay. By saying so, if you look at, if you take into considerations, probably small projects may not be as hazardous as the. Pardon? Hello. Hello. Okay, all right, Dr. Fairuz. Just if you look at probably small project may not be as major risk as the concern, but then I'm looking into, if you look at a large scale of projects when you have 3 or 4 towers at the same time running at the same time, so you have numerous risks that need to be looked at by the principal designer. So how do you, sometimes those agencies may come at one time, so you may need to resolve that at the same time. Those highlighted that. So there's so many cross informations that need to be addressed urgently by the respective principal designers. So how do you, or what's your advice on that? Or what's your thought on that?
So
Dr. Fairuz.
That will be one of the other element of the guidelines. Having the right time, having the right people at the right time, the right information to the right people at the right time. So if you have a larger projects, of course you need to appoint the competent person as well. I mean the competent designers, competent contractors who have the skill, knowledge and experience. But also if the projects is too large for one man to handle, the client or the whoever deciding on the projects may need to consider to appoint more than one designers to oversee the projects. So the designers can be an individual, can be a person for one small project, but if the project is complex, like building an airport, building a hospital, then the clients may consider taking advice from the first designers that he appointed to appoint another designers, more than one designer, to help not only the first designers but also the client in advising on the progress of the project, the process of the projects.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Dr. Fairuz. I think we had another one before I end the sessions. I already get a message from the secretariats to basically we had come to the end of our sessions. So I'm going to go for the last question posted by I can see the posted by Roshana. Okay, by Roshana. Who should appoint the principal designer for safety and when? Probably this question can be goes to the other two panels, Dr. Nabila and Architect Samsia. In short, probably you can reply in short, because we're running out of time. I had many questions to ask, but then unfortunately our time is limited. So please, Dr. Nabila, you first.
All right. Basically, it actually depends on the type of the contract for our project. Okay, because we have various type of contract. It can be traditional, it can be design and build, and even sometimes we can, kind of appoint a project management consultant. Okay, as a, to bridge in between the client and to the other consultants. So it actually depends on the contract. But I think Architect Samsia have more elaboration on this.
All right, thank you, Dr. Nabila.
Okay, in my opinion, when we go through OSHIM, in my opinion, simple, the person who actually create the risk has to bear the risk. So basically the client has to appoint the principal designer that he thinks whoever that is fit, apa tu, or what do you say, layak, what do you say layak?
Qualified.
Yes, qualified. Sorry, I lost my words. Okay, so the qualified person, whoever he thinks qualified, yeah, perhaps depending on the scope of work of the project itself, yeah. So as soon as possibly can, yeah, because by appointing a principal designer, perhaps the client may actually distribute his risk. Yeah, meaning to say that he actually didn't cover the risk by himself. Yeah, so when he appointed the principal designer, he actually handed over or distribute the risk as a client to the principal designer that he's appointed. I think that answers the question.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Architect Samsia. In fact, I prepared numbers of questions specifically for Dr. Nabila and Architect Samsia, but unfortunately, time is really running up. I have been alarmed by the Secretariat to end. Sorry, Secretariat. Okay, for example, Dr. Nabila spoke about appointing the right people. I would like to know more who are the right people, especially the contractors, who, when contractors can be from the public, can be the non-technical, can come from the non-technical background. For example, it can be someone from the accountants, or someone from the cikgu. You know, you can just register the certifications, and there you go. You got the contractor company to need. So those things are that come curious back in the back of my mind that I wanted to ask.
Yes,
but I will ask you later, probably
sure.
in the next sessions. And you talk also a lot about coordinations, and that needs to be done. That's also part and parcel of my questions, but will not be covered here. So, and also Architect Samsya will talk about, you show lots of pictures that shows how hazard can be acknowledged or identified at the end of the project. Then only you realize, oh, this is the risk actually. So you don't provide a sufficient support or barricades to make sure it's safe. For example, you know, it shows about how the aircon latch is not properly accessible. There's no access to the aircon latch, and then aircon latch being misused for other purpose. So that can be also another hazard. Okay, thank you very much, all speakers. It's been a very engaging session. A lot of knowledge being transferred or being transferred to this during these sessions. I enjoyed it very much. So sorry that we can't have our Q&A sessions a bit more times. With that, I end the sessions. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you.
Terima kasih Azri.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Macam mana nak pergi to other session? Host boleh dengar tak? Macam mana nak pergi other session?
Boleh. Kena text Nani.
Betul.
Text Nani.
Tapi number dia tak ada WhatsApp lah.
Never mind, I'll give you later.
Okay. Alright.
2:30 kan next session. Okay, alright. Thank you, Secretariat.
Thank you.